So at least a few times a year, the main branch of my local library hosts a 25-cent book sale, which is what it says. All books are 25 cents. They empty out one of their auditorium rooms and have tables full of books. And the day before they open it up to the general public, they open it up to Friends of the Library members, which I am one, of course. And it can definitely be a bit of a tussle. There's a lot of books, a lot of potential for great deals, and it gets pretty crowded. So I went to one of these sales last week and I spent $2.50, meaning I got 10 books. So let's do a little book haul. So the first set of books I'm going to talk about are what I call the Interesting Character Collection. I saw this. It's called What Are You Doing Here by Laina Dawes. And she is a Black woman that was heavily involved in the punk and heavy metal scene. And this is like a memoir of hers. So there's some cool looking pictures and history. Yeah, the subtitle is A Black Woman's Life and Liberation in Heavy Metal. So I'm really excited to read this. It looks like it's printed on a small press, and looks fairly new. And oh my God, just look at this picture, all these beautiful Black people at a heavy metal show. So I'm really excited to dive into this. Also in the interesting character section, as an Alabamian, I felt drawn to The Story of My Life by Helen Keller, who is obviously someone that we all learn about in school, especially here in Alabama, and we go visit her house. But she had a really interesting life. She was really involved in civil rights and the labor movement and the socialist movement. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to finally read this account from her, by her. So the next set of books I'm going to talk about are just sort of miscellaneous old and new classics is what I will call them. My dog is also interested in these books. This is definitely an older classic and a gap. It's Sad Cypress by Agatha Christie. I am a big Agatha Christie fan, and this is a Poirot novel I have not yet read. I've seen the adaptation of it though, so I won't be too spoiled, but I'm excited to actually read the novel version of it. And yeah, I believe it's one of her classics. So I'm excited to finally add this to my collection. We also have All the President's Men by Carl Bernstein and Bob Woodward. This is, of course, their expose on the Nixon administration. I love this movie. It is one of what I call, one of my favorite genres of movies, what I call a newspaper movie, where they're, doing the legwork, doing the grunt work, poring over, books and articles, trying to get to the truth. So I am excited to read this. It's the 30th anniversary edition, which I think means it's almost 20 years old now. So yeah, so this is a book I have not read, but if it's anything like the movie, I will love it. And then we have My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, which I know she is a not even a cult classic writer at this point, but just a classic writer. People love, adore this book and her whole series. I think it's called the Neapolitan series. And I've never read it. So I'm excited to see what this is like. See if I am also you know, enthralled with it as much as other people are. But yeah, so it's definitely something I've been meaning to get around to, and I saw it on sale and couldn't turn it down. The next books we have are some general nonfiction ones. I picked up Evicted by Matthew Desmond. I know he also wrote the book Poverty, I think in the past couple of years, and this is actually a Pulitzer Prize winning book as well. So he sort of focuses on some of these like social issues, like poverty and the systems that contribute to it. So yeah, I'm excited to read this. Matthew Desmond is pretty deep into this work. He's a MacArthur genius. Like I said, won the Pulitzer, so seems like I shouldn't be able to go wrong with this. And then I don't know if I've actually heard of this book before, or I just like thought I had. But I want to say I've heard other people talk about this, but it's The Silk Roads, A New History of the World by Peter Frankopan. And so, yeah, just like a history book. I think I mentioned in a previous video, I don't tend to like know too much about books I read sometimes. So yeah, I think it's just going to teach me a little bit about history from different cultures. Let's see. From the Middle East and its political instability to China and its economic rise, the vast region stretching eastward from the Balkans across the steppe and South Asia has been thrust into the global spotlight in recent years. In order to comprehend what is at stake for the cities and nations built on these intricate trade routes, Frankopan teaches us that we must first grasp their astounding past. So yeah, it's history through trade routes, which in my experience, sometimes things that might sound sort of boring actually end up being like the most riveting ways of teaching me new material. So excited to see what this is about. Okay, so I really believe that, I used to be a bit snobbish in my media taste, and I would definitely be the type of person that would be like, oh, you haven't heard that, or you haven't read that? Like, you don't know what you're missing out on. But the world of media is sort of endless, and if you don't get to the classics or the books you just need to read, like I'm sure you were spending your time doing something else just as important. So I'm giving myself a little bit of grace, but these are 3 books that I probably should have read by now. We're gonna start with The Color Purple by Alice Walker. So obviously it's a classic. I think it won the Pulitzer, became a really important movie, and then a musical, and then a movie musical. So this is a classic. I believe I've read some Alice Walker before, so excited to read this. In that same vein, we have Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison, which I've been looking to pick up some Toni Morrison books at sort of sales like these. And so I was really excited to come across this and, immediately snatched it up. So really excited to read this. And then this is more of like a historical text. I'm not going to feel too bad about it, but it is the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, which I was, ironically, I was reading an essay by Toni Morrison like last week, where she talks about the importance of slave narratives as sort of the precursor to Black American memoirs, which I am a memoir writer, so that was, really intriguing to me. So yeah, so excited to read this for like the literary and historical and, literary historical insights it might give me. Okay, I have 3 final books. The first 2 are just going to fall into the category of reference books. We have Grammar Without Grief, the ultimate A to Z for the stylistically clueless and grammatically challenged. These are really important books, don't they, Frankopan? And also just the Merriam-Webster Thesaurus. I think these library book sales are often really great for these kinds of things. Like, I realized I did not have just a plain thesaurus, and you never know when the internet's gonna go out and you can't just like Google something. So I think this is like a good book to have. And also, I am a writer in like my day job and in my free time, but I feel like my grammar is severely lacking. And it's sort of hard to like look up because we use like spell check and autocorrect so much. So I've been looking for a like grammar reference book. So I'm really excited I found this. And then last but not least, this is just like a really good find. It is Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. And I recently read her short story collection that of course I am blanking on the name of at this moment, but it was really good. A lot of like magic realism elements, and I mean just like full on like horror short stories. So I'm excited to read this book. I think it came out a few years ago. But yeah, I'm excited that they have this, and I will be probably reading this summer. So yeah, so that is my book haul. I am excited to dive into some of these, and you know, maybe I definitely won't be like reading these all in one go, but good to just have these on deck, especially like the reference books and the nonfiction books I can just sort of like go to and pull out when I need them. So I am excited to go do this.